I'm working for TimeWaver since about 11 years almost by now. I came to the company when we were about maybe 7, 8 people, and like a family start, if you want to say so. And now I guess we are more than 80 or almost 100. Like every week I come, there are a few more people coming in the company I might not even know. So it's a very exciting project, specifically when we started Healy, which is, our smallest brother, sister, however you want to call it, in regards to all our TimeWaver product family. Yeah, today I want to speak specifically about Healy Analyze or Healy Resonance, which is the second app. And as you all know, since you're all with Healy, we have 2 apps. I'm actually going forward in my little PowerPoint presentation. Later on, by the way, I also want to do a live demo. So I have connected my mobile phone with my Healy via a special app to my computer so that you can actually see what I'm doing on my mobile phone. So I'm doing a live analysis. I want to show you a few things, interpretation of the parameters. You probably heard about this D, C, L, and potency, relevance, intensity. All this we want to try to discuss today. If we do not fit that in our 1.5 hour, we might also do a part 2. We will see. We are spontaneous. We are flexible. We can always add on if needed. Frank is collecting all your questions. He's filtering a little bit because right now, actually, we are coming close to 200 participants. So I'm actually still prolonging a little bit, waiting a little longer because any second, almost every second, one new person is coming into the room. This is actually this is very good because I see there is a need, and I see there is also a need for training and also specifically actually for understanding. Yeah. Good. Then let's start with the content. I want to first touch just in 5 minutes the first app. As you all know, we have 2 apps. The first app is dealing with tangible physical frequencies, which are being applied via the wrist electrodes. You have those electrodes with cables connected to your Healy hardware, and your Healy app is actually operating those. Let me just go to the next page. Yeah, what is the first app is the Healy app. As you see in this picture, it is a combination of 2 brains, if you want to say so. One brain is Markus Schmieke. He's a good friend of mine. I know him already before TimeWaver. He's in Germany, in Schloss Kränzlin. He actually brought into what we call the TimeWaver technology, TimeWaver information field technology. And Nuno Nina from Portugal, he's a cell biologist. He actually brought his knowledge about physical frequencies, about microcurrent therapy. So these 2, you would say, paths combined is what we call Healy app. And this is actually when we say we work with physical tangible frequencies, or when we say we work with microcurrent frequency treatment. Yeah. So what does it mean? Frequencies, health. As you know, we all need movement. As you know, we all need nutrition. And as you might probably know, we all need frequencies. Therefore, the slogan, as you can see, is frequencies for your life. Frequencies are as important to the body as movement, as proper nutrition. This is a form of nutrition the cells can deal with. And in order for you to understand that concept a bit further, I'll have a graphic which you probably know. This is the so-called cell membrane voltage picture. You might have seen this in a few PowerPoint or in a few charts or a few pictures you might have found on some meetings, or even if you download it in your member area. According to this model, it is very important that the cells have a negative cell membrane voltage of minus 70 millivolts. So a young and healthy cell will have a negative cell membrane voltage, and the cell is situated in what we call the extracellular space, or the matrix, and the extracellular space is positive. So having a negative cell membrane voltage being in a positive extracellular space, the cell can communicate with its environment and can actually take in nutrients and can also give all the waste products, into the extracellular space, and that is being actually at some point flushed out to all the detox organs and tissues and so on. So if that negative cell membrane voltage is stable, the cell can properly communicate with its environment. However, if the cell membrane voltage, and you see this in this picture, is actually decreasing, going towards zero, the cell is not properly communicating with its environment. You could say in some areas it's described, it becomes acidic, the environment. But if you look at the picture I'm showing you right now, you see minus 50 millivolts is already an old or a sick cell. It goes to pain, minus 35 millivolt, inflammation, and so on and so forth. Even a tumor cell, according to this model, will have minus 15 millivolts. So a death cell, of course, has 0 millivolts because there's no communication whatsoever. So what we, in very simple terms, we want to reverse the process. That is the idea of Healy app. We want to reverse the process by providing the correct frequencies applied via the wrist electrodes to your body or to your client's body or to whoever. So getting the proper frequencies as physical microcurrent treatment to your cells through the whole body is that part of reversing that process. TimeWaver, or Healy in that sense, is actually a combination between the analysis part of the frequencies and the output. Now I was just talking about the output. The output is what you can feel. You have the electrodes. By the way, we are 200 people now already in the room. And that is what you feel. But which frequencies is actually coming next is being evaluated by what we call the quantum sensor of your Healy hardware. You probably all have realized that every 10 seconds, the frequency is changing. Sometimes you have a second number of minus 50% up to 30%. This is what we call a saturation level in the background. However, the frequencies are changing, and the amount of frequency, how often the frequency is repeated, and how long you've been treated with that frequency is also evaluated by the analysis part of the quantum sensor of Healy hardware. So the USP of Healy, and now I'm just sticking with the app, which you can feel. I'm just calling it the feelable app. So the app you can feel, the USP is definitely that every frequency program is a unique program worldwide. You will never ever have a single frequency program reproduced by somebody else having a Healy, because each frequency is being produced by the Healy from the pool of potential possible frequencies is a unique frequency program, especially designed for the person carrying the Healy. So, because you could argue, why is Healy so expensive? Because sometimes you find frequency generator for whatever, 600 euros or dollars. But the technology included in Healy makes it unique, so much so that actually Healy finds the right frequencies in real time. So it is actually adjusting to the need of the person carrying the Healy via the quantum sensor. And the quantum sensor, in technical terms, is actually called a noise generator. However, this technology comes from TimeWaver technology and is being implemented into Healy to be able to find the correct frequencies you need in real time. So that in brief is just a bit of a technical overview. So the outcome is, of course, different frequency programs. And Healy, the Healy app comes with around 120 Healy programs in different categories: meridians, chakras, pain, psyche, you name it. You know them better than me, maybe even. So we have and depending on the kind of frequency Healy you've purchased, you might find a certain amount of I guess you can't see that right now. Okay, so if you have the Healy Gold, then you have less pre-programmed frequency programs. If you have Healy Holistic Health, you have a few more. If you have Healy Holistic Health Plus, you have all 121 frequency programs available. However, there's one tab or one page in your app, what we call the therapist programs. You probably know. There are 12 empty slots. For most of you, the slots are empty. For some of you, there are some programs in. Because with our TimeWaver Big Brother, which I call the TimeWaver frequency, this is the Big Brother system, you can, or like a doctor, a therapist can even program more individualized frequency programs onto the Healy app, which are at the moment not even in the 121 programs. So if somebody is using a TimeWaver Big machine, which is a TimeWaver frequency machine, he could remotely program all the Healy devices of their customers with very specific individual programs, which are even beyond the programs pre-installed on the Healy app. But that will come in another webinar. I'm not talking too much about TimeWaver and frequency. Today it's about Healy resonance. And therefore, I'm coming already to the point where it gets interesting, because I said only 15 minutes, Healy, and I kind of stuck to my promise. So I want to actually talk a bit about Healy resonance, because there is another app, and you know this. This is the second app. You can download both apps on Play Store or on Google Play Store or on the Apple App Store. And both apps do operate with the same Healy hardware. However, the way of how the output is being generated is fully different. Because with the second app, and you notice, you do not need any cables. There is no electrodes needed. Actually, Healy is only being, you actually wear the Healy just somewhere around, you just put it somewhere on your body. You can have it in the pocket. You could even have it in the room, because now the second app is a more quantum physical app. What does that mean? Quantum physical app means now we are working in the, what we call information field, or in the morphogenetic field of a person only. There is no physical cable connection needed for the analysis of, whatever is being analyzed, Bach flower remedies, whatever digital nutrition or vital substances, digital homeopathy, and also the output. Because you can also, with the second app, you can send the impulse, or you can send, I would say, the information about, let's say, a Bach flower remedy into the information field of a person, of a client, or of yourself, right? So having said that, Healy World has left the room. Somebody has left the room. Frank, are you still there? I guess you are. Okay. I hope technique is still working. So, because what is healing, or what is doing the job here, is your consciousness, is your intention, is your focus. Using Healy Resonance app very much depends on what you want to, where you want to go. What is the aim of why you use the app? In TimeWaver language, we talk about the correct focus, the correct intention. Where do you want to go? Okay, Frank, you're back in the room. Huh? I can see that. Okay, fine. I guess you just had to go grab a coffee. Good. So consciousness, or the intention, your mental power is the key of success. Yeah, Frank.
Sorry, I got kicked out.
It's fine. Maybe we are at the limit of 200 and that's it. I don't know.
No, usually not.
Okay. Fine. But we are 200 people, which is, now we are 201. Okay. Very good. So let me continue. Consciousness is the key, or you would say the intention. Your mental power is the key of success. Let me explain you this app with something you might know from your background or from your experience. You all know about homeopathy. There was a German guy, Dr. Hahnemann, a few hundred years back. He discovered homeopathy. For all of you who do not know how homeopathy works or what he intended by discovering it is he originally had certain plant remedies, plants, and he would actually have mother tinctures of certain plant remedies. Let's say arnica. Huh? So let me show you that one. Oh yeah, there you go. So that is a good slide. So he had, let's say, one drop of a so-called mother tincture, which is, a pure plant remedy. And he diluted that one drop in plain water, in 1 liter of plain water. So, however, excuse me, once he had diluted the water or the 1 drop of arnica in the water, he took 1 drop of the diluted water and put it in another plain liter of water. He again did the same process of diluting, taking 1 drop out, putting it into the next container of plain water, and so on and so forth. So what is the idea? At some point or you would say at some level of dilution, you would not be able to trace back the mother tincture in the diluted water. No physical instrument would be able to trace back the physical substance, the remedy itself in the water. But according to homeopathy, even though this water is highly diluted and you cannot trace back, that highly diluted water has an effect, according to homeopathy, in terms of healing power. So the different levels of dilution we actually call potencies in homeopathy. And you might have realized in your aura analysis deeper lists, what you gain if you deeper analyze a chakra. The results will come with these so-called potencies. Some list entries, they have a D or a C or an LM potency. So these potencies, they show the level of dilution. By the way, Dr. Hahnemann said, what is actually doing the job in terms of homeopathy is the spirit of the plant. It's not the plant itself. So going away from a material platform, going into more of a spiritual platform here is what actually does the job according to homeopathy, discovered by Dr. Hahnemann. Now, coming to the next term, what we call digital homeopathy. Because what he did the whole job in a sort of an analog way, right? He had the mother tincture, he was diluting it, he took 1 drop and so on and so forth. But now, in the times we are living, in a digital age, if you want to say so, in a technical age, we were able actually to how you say in English, we were able to generate a digital recording pattern, or we could create a digital recording pattern of a certain remedy, such as arnica, and we would save it into your Healy app software. So with the big TimeWaver units there is a recording part. We can record arnica or any material substance, let's say any homeopathic remedy, you can place on the TimeWaver unit, you can record a digital vibration. And this vibration or this pattern is what we then use and copy as a digital vibrational pattern to all the different clients wherever they are. So Healy Resonance is doing the same job. You might have seen there are certain databases, Bach flowers, there are Australian bush flowers, there are vital substances, there's digital homeopathy. All these remedies in the database structure of your Resonance app are actually these digital vibrational patterns which come from TimeWaver, which are implemented in Healy Resonance app, and which you can now copy for yourself or for your clients in a digital way to make possible the effect of digital homeopathy on yourself or your clients. Right? So, okay. That is maybe a bit too far. Good. There we go. So that is what I wanted to explain to you a little bit, that here we are working, by the way, with a principle called quantum entanglement. I have no slide to this, but you can later on inform yourself, dig deeper, go into the matter, into the quantum physical matter. There is a principle called quantum entanglement, which actually means two particles are connected by intention, and if you stimulate one particle, the other particle will be simultaneously stimulated, however long the distance is between those two particles. That is making possible remote analysis and remote optimization with our TimeWaver devices, as well as with your Healy Resonance app. Because technically, you could give your Healy Resonance plus your mobile phone to a good friend. He would go home and he has you in as a client in the app, and then he does an analysis remotely, let's say 50 k's away from where you are right now. And then he would call you and then he would say, hey, Healy Resonance comes up saying you need this Bach flower, because of what you're going through right now in life. Right? So that is the idea behind. And having said that, I want to go live into the app and I want to show you what I mean in a practical sense. Yeah. Before I'm doing this, or while I'm actually now going into the demonstration mode, maybe Frank, you can check whether there are some questions and we can just go through the questions. Would be practical.
Well, thank you, Michael. There was one question saying there is a building application. When will this come into the Healy?
A building application.
Yeah,
that's a good question. Yeah, this is technically called space clearing, and space clearing is a process where you energetically clean a building, a room, a property. When I cannot say exactly because I don't have a timeline, but that could be part of Healy in the future, in some sort of an update, that you have the opportunity to basically do an energetic feng shui. Or as we say in the Indian language, we would say vasati or vastu. So there is an energetic space clearing, which can be then, probably upgraded in your Healy, and then you can use that like that. When I can't say, I can't give you a timeline yet.
Okay. There's another question. If I measure a client and I have to treat him, her, for example, one of the Bach Blossoms remedies, am I able put this vibration to a bottle of water and give it to him or her?
So first the analysis. Okay. So let me rephrase. So you do an analysis and you found out, let's say you need the Bach flower number 5. Is it possible to implement the information as well to onto water?
Yes.
With Healy, we are not intending this. However, with our TimeWaver big units, you can do that. You have two options. You can directly transfer the information into the field of the client, or you can also implement the information onto a carrier object. May it be water or globules, or there are different carrier objects. With Healy,
to make it clear, this is not possible with the Healy.
Yeah, with Healy, we are not intending to do this because with Healy, we are directly sending the information into the global information field of that person. So we are not implementing carrier objects. No.
Yeah. Another question is, what is the difference between plus 100% and minus 100%?
Good idea. Okay, that's a good point. Plus and minus in these terms are foreground and background information. You could also say active plus or passive minus information. Or if it's more medical, if the result is more medical, you could also be able to say it is more of an acute or of a chronic situation. So plus would be referring to acute, active foreground, whereas minus relevances would be referred to chronic tendencies, by the way, background or passive information. So, therefore, I will come to that, chronic and acute, because I have prepared a little chart for you guys. And later on, when we come to the sending, like how long do we send the list and when and how often, I have prepared a very nice chart where I explain this acute and chronic a bit more. But for now, you would say it is, when it is related to something physical, you know, like a physical tangible issue, you would say acute chronic. When it is related to more emotional stuff, because Bach flowers relate to emotional stuff, you could also refer to conscious and unconscious issue, right? If it refers to affirmation, like, you know, I'm fully self-realized, then this is not a chronic or an acute issue. Fully self-realized means, am I aware of it or am I unconscious of it? So plus would rather refer to I'm conscious about that, and minus I'm not. Yeah? But
okay,
the most easy way to say plus and minus. Say again?
It's easier to show the app because I also have some questions here regarding how you can see your previous analysis, how you have done and all this.
Okay, so let me switch to the app and let me see if you guys can see now my Healy. Can you see it?
Yes.
Do you see that?
Fine. Yes.
Very good, very good. Okay, guys. I'm actually now in my Healy app, and I'm very proud that this works because this is quite a technical challenge, and but somehow or other it works. By the way, before I start with anything, I want to just make sure, because today I transferred or I authorized this phone from my master phone. You probably have, there is a thing called cloud settings, and here you have a thing called connected cloud devices. Right? So in your master device, which is your smartphone, which you primarily use for your Healy analyzed, Healy resonance, in this master device, you have to authorize the new device while it's connected and while you actually have logged on into your account. And then once you have done that, you actually can import the master key, and you can download from the cloud all your clients and all your lists, and then you have your own settings back, just as a starter. Good. However, now I want to go a little bit through. You see the button clients. I'll just show myself right now because this is maybe very obvious, and now you also know my birth date, but that's fine. You import a picture, you take a selfie, and whenever there is record vibration, you take your Healy into your right hand, you record a personal vibration, which identifies you or the client, whoever is then the active client, clearly in the information field. This vibration, which is being recorded here, and which you see there's this little blue line, this is there that Healy knows with whom it's dealing, who to identify in the global information field. So that makes me unique. And that is, so to say, my digital fingerprint or my ID by which Healy can find back my identification in the field, right? Good. And then you basically go through the rest, you fill it in as much as you want and can. And then you go to the next step, which is actually the analysis. You have two options. And I want to start maybe with the resonance analysis. Or no, let's start with the aura analysis. Yeah. So first of all, you have to select the client you want to do the analysis for, is myself. You immediately see who is the active client. And next step, the only thing which makes sense is, of course, to record the aura. Let's do it quick. So first you get this wobbling picture, which I find nice, but it doesn't really tell much unless you click on the upper right screen to this bar chart. Now we are talking, because here you can see what's going on. Because now you see in absolute values the energy distribution in each of the 7 chakras. By the way, this is the 7 chakra model. There are different chakra models. There's a 12 chakra model and so on. There are different chakra models. We chose the 7 chakra model because this is the one which is widely known. Therefore, we're actually using that one. For all of you guys who do not know what the chakras stand for, I would advise you to actually, have a look online, read and inform yourself. Each chakra is related to certain tones, colors, frequencies, organs, emotions. Like each chakra has a deeper meaning. It's not just an energy center, which we cannot see in that sense. It's not just like an invisible so-called energy center, but these energy centers, they are quite determining our lives. Let's say the crown chakra is the connection to our spiritual identity, to our spiritual reality, to our you would say spiritual element of this life. The forehead chakra is related to clear thinking, of intention, like mind. The throat chakra obviously is related to communication, communication to myself, but also communication to the outside world. The heart chakra, very naturally relates to whatever is related to feelings. How do I relate to others? But how do others relate to me as well? How does that affect me? And how am I able to, receive emotions and give emotions, basically? In a nutshell, there's way more to it. I'm just giving a few examples. And then the lower chakras, just to sum it up, or specifically the root chakra is for the grounding. It's the earthing. It's like how much you are in this reality. How much your identity on this earth, in this body. Sacral chakra is the sexual power, is the Kundalini Shakti in the Indian Vedic terminology. And the solar plexus is related to the self, self-esteem. How much is and how strong is self-esteem? Good. However, Healy will always mark the 3 chakras which are lowest. As you see, for me right now, it is a heart, throat, and forehead. It's interesting. So now I can already contemplate, what does that mean? Did I today encounter a certain emotional shock or a situation which were not really, which I wasn't maybe prepared, which I didn't really like, or something like this? Or throat chakra. Did I had a lot of communication today? Or was I able to communicate properly what I needed to my environment? Or forehead chakra, how strong is my power of thinking? Am I able to clearly proceed my thinking line of thoughts like this? So you could go with all the 3 chakras, but I don't want to go with all. You can also untick whatever you don't like. So I usually stick with one. Otherwise, the information are too many. And you don't want to have too many information to all the chakras. Of course, you can do, but I rather like the principle, like the KISS principle. KISS principle stands for keep it short and simple. Less is more. My basic guideline when I use Healy resonance, but also our TimeWaver main units, as much as needed, but as little as possible. Good. And then on the very far left side, you have the total energy, which is a bit the average through all the chakras, through all the 7 chakras. So in total, I would say it's fine. I'm quite balanced. It is okay. There's not, I'm not like fully racked. I'm not like fully out of balance. If one chakra would be like really low, let's say on 50 or something, then, I would really think, okay, there's, I really have to observe that. Then I do another analysis maybe before going to bed or tomorrow, just to see, observe what's going on. Yeah. So first of all, if you want to inform yourself, there's a button called interpretation, as you can see. If I click on that, by the way, you can read through. This is, I guess, a 9-page, pamphlet and a brochure, basically about what each chakra stands for. This is what I spoke about. Yeah, this is more general. Yeah. So if I was now with the, where have we been? Root chakra, sacral chakra, crown chakra. So if I already know, let's say, if I have a low crown chakra or something, then I could, already read through, what does it mean? Heaven is close to you, and so on. This is just a more of a general description related to each chakra. If you, however, want to go deeper and you want to inform yourself more, I advise you to, read some books, inform yourself. There's plenty of information related to the 7 chakra module. Good. That's the first one. But what actually now is the next step is you want to start the analysis, because that is when it gets interesting. Good. First of all, the focus is already set, is preset. You can change it, as you see. My aura is strong and stable. If you specifically want to, add something related to the heart chakra, you could also say, my relationships. Oh, sorry. My relationships are loving and kind. Specifically because I was, remember the heart chakra. So now what do I do here? I'm typing in something, but what does that typing mean? What does it stand for? Actually, the typing is just helping me to become clear of what is my mental focus. What do I want? Right? So remember, consciousness, I was explaining a bit. Focus, I was explaining a bit the power of the mind. So now I'm actually going away from generalizing. Therefore, I'm actually radically deleting the previous focus. And I just want to relate to my heart chakra. And I want to have a focus which is related to what I want to deeper analyze, which is my personal relationships amongst, family members, friends, and so on. So this little window where I can type in a sentence or a phrase or just a word is helping me to mentally focus on what I want right now. Because remember, again, the intention is needed to come to effective results. If I'm just spacing out, leave that mobile phone somewhere, write some email, and then I'll have some analysis running on the side, that will not do. Therefore, also by Resonance app, you have to press the finger on your screen. Why? Because that keeps your intention focused on what you're doing right now. That's the whole idea of that fingerprint, by the way. Okay, but we come to that. Good. So it's fine. Then I go start analysis. And as you see, we go in the heart chakra, or the Anahata chakra, as you say in Sanskrit. And it is related to the mental body, also emotions, as I said. Huh? So now what do we have? We have what we call a present state description, desired state description. It sounds very technical, and indeed it is. But what is the most important part is here the present state description. Because the color is one thing. It's okay. The color of the heart chakra usually is green. Therefore, you see up in capital letters, color green. However, is that if that heart chakra is not exactly green, but if there is a deviation of that color, you would say if the color is impure towards turquoise, then we have a deviation from the natural state of that chakra, which is, and this we find in the present state description, the person would like to build a relationship based on unconditional love. So now that is interesting. First of all, I have to contemplate about this, because these phrases have a very deep meaning. It's not just that's not just a sentence, but that person, which is me, because I'm doing the analysis for me, would like to build relationships based on unconditional love. So it's interesting. Okay, first of all, we are dealing with the heart chakra. I told you it's about giving and receiving emotions, love. What is the basis? Is of course everybody wants love, some way or the other. Even if we want to have money, then what do you want to buy with the money? We want to buy a situation where we can receive and reciprocate in love. So love is very, and actually, you can't really buy love, as we all know, but it is a basic need of the soul. So the person would like to build relationships based on unconditional love. So let me think about what means unconditional, what means conditional. Conditional means love is based on certain conditions. I love you because you have money. I love you because you have a downline. I love you because you have a Healy resonance app, and I'm just having a gold. Whatever. These are conditions. What means unconditional love? I love you however you are, and I love you for whatever you are, and I'm not basing my love on any material condition whatsoever. It is a very deep meaning, and I don't want to maybe go too much into the spirit of the matter, but what I want to inspire you is to think about what is the outcome, and to not just, read quickly over, but to really go deep with the meaning, contemplate. Introspective behavior is needed, because this is a very delicate app. This is just by becoming aware of the content of the list, that is already part of transformation. That is part of, awareness is a preliminary stage of healing to some extent. Good. Desired state. That is then more general. That means complete, gentle healing of issues of self-love, unconditional love, and joyful heart, and so on and so forth, right? So, and then in the desired state description, the themes of the heart chakra are perceived harmoniously. That is more general. But what is actually making it now interesting is the present state description, because that tells me where I'm standing. It means present state. And desired state tells me where I am supposed to go. As you see, unconditional love and a joyful heart by enhancing this color, which is the original color of green. But self-love, issues of self-love and unconditional love, right? So now, interestingly enough, see, by the way, I could go further, So I could read through more, but let's just stick with the first one because I like that one very much. Why? Because first of all, the first one has the highest relevance. You see now these 3 parameters up there. And that is important now. The 3 parameters are relevance, intensity, and potency. And these parameters are making the list entry for us palatable, or in other words, they give the frame in which we have to interpret the result for us or for the client. So what means the 84% relevance? That means how important is that one entry related to the analysis of my heart chakra right now? It could be 100, but it is just 84. Why is it not 100? It's a good question. It could mean that it is not 100 because the 100% correct answer is not available in the database structure of Healy resonance. So therefore, Healy resonance comes with what is closest to the correct answer, but has a deviation of 16%, which actually makes a total of 84% relevance. Related to my focus. What was my focus? My relationships are loving and kind. You see? Now, the relevance you have to interpret always related to the focus. Now, this is not a general number. This is related to why you're doing it. So that is the importance. Next one is intensity. Intensity goes from 1 to 10. What does that mean? What does that mean? Classically, in homeopathy, you would say that is the level of dosage. So you could say 1 means 1 drop of that remedy a day, and 10 means 10 drops of that remedy a day. When we come later on to Bach flowers, that might more, make sense in terms of interpreting the Bach flower remedy lists. Well, now related to root causes of the heart chakra, you cannot really talk about dosage and drops of a day, obviously, because how much drops of unconditional love a day can you kind of, take in? So then we have to look at intensity as a parameter in a different way. That actually then means how much do I confront myself with that issue so that I can actually resolve that issue or properly integrate that issue. Meaning an intensity of 10 would mean I still have quite something to do. I have to confront myself quite a lot in order to, optimize that, or in order to rebalance that issue. As you can hear, I'm carefully avoiding the word healing. So if there is an intensity of 1, then, that means there has been already quite, I have done already something along the way, and there's just a trace left in the information field. Hence, I would just, gently, in a way, trigger the field so that this issue can be balanced. Right.
Michael, I'm sorry to disturb for 1 second. Can we go a little bit into the practical actions, vibrations, and so forth? Because we are getting close to almost 1 hour now.
Wow. Okay. Then, And then let me just, as a last or third parameter, say something about this LMC and D potency. This was what we said that is the level of dilution. This is, and maybe we have to do another webinar for the potencies just to interpret them a bit clearer. But for now, we stick to what I said. This shows how much this issue is already physically manifested in a person's life or not. So D means it is quite manifested. C means it is not much manifested. And LM means it is, almost not at all manifested. Good. But let's come to the more practical part. You're right. What do I do next? First of all, I can go on actions and I can add manually. What does that mean? Okay, show PDF is clear. You generate a PDF file, you send it via WhatsApp, whatever, email attachment, messenger, you name it. But what means add manually? That is a very important part now, because here the app offers you the unique opportunity to use Healy as an amplification tool for your own desired state affirmation or descriptions. So therefore, if I would now put this in, I can use the desired state. Where do I want to go? What is my desired personal state in regards to my heart chakra? I could say my personal relationships are loving and kind. No, kind is a small capital. Okay, kind, like that. So now this is an affirmation, of course, which I additionally want to vibrate in addition to the list entries which have come from the analysis. And I want to do this, therefore I'm ticking here that one. And you see, now this one has been added. You see, desired state, my personality are loving and kind. With an intensity, with a relevance of 100%. Why? Because Healy resonance assumes that you really mean it. And this is what you mean. Therefore, it is a manual list entry, and therefore it has 100%. And now we come to what we say vibrate, because now not only the results which have been analyzed in my information field, but also what I have been written manually in is now being vibrated into my field for 1 minute and 20 seconds. So now is the part where we do the not therapy, sounds very medical. We want to optimize the field. We want to vibrate the field so that these issues can be rebalanced, can be optimized. So first, all the things come from the analysis, and at the end, also this one affirmation I put in personally in regards to my personal relationships. So this is all now running. This is all now running as an optimization. So now the question comes. See, now this is the last one. My personal relationships are loving and kind. So now is a question, how long, how often do you do this optimization? This is the main question probably. I want to stop this for a moment and I want to come back and I want to show you a chart now, which I have generated for you. Let me come to that. Frank, maybe you have to help me. Okay, maybe I have to do this manually. 1 second, because this is very important. Let me turn that off. Let me put that back on. Yeah. Do you guys see that schedule here? Probably, huh? Frank, do you see the guideline for balancing? Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, just to be on the same page. So now this is, if you talk about balancing or sending, we sometimes even call it broadcasting. However you want to call it, that is the mode when you vibrate a list into the information field of yourself or another person. Important is here what I said in the beginning. We differentiate between acute and chronic. So you look through the list and you see, use your intuition, use your common sense in combination and find out whether most of the issues or the most of the content of the list is an acute issue or is a chronic issue. So what does it mean acute? Acute can be something which is just right now relevant. If you hurt yourself, if you had an accident, if you had a separation with your client, if you split up, if your parents split up, that can be an acute situation right now. And what means chronic? Of course, I don't have to give you many examples. That can be a trauma, which has been, maybe your parents split up when you were small. And then, that trauma is creeping in your relationships since many, many years. So you want to make a decision now whether the list you have come or whether you have analyzed, may it be in the aura or in the resonance module, is of an acute situation or whether the list is more going towards a chronic. You have to read through. So, and that defines the transmission time, the total duration, as follows. If it's more or less an acute issue you're doing the analysis for, then you would do 6 to 8 times of transmitting this one list you have analyzed for 37 seconds. Remember, there's one sending interval, or one time is 37 seconds and a few after the comma, milliseconds and stuff. You choose that interval, and you do it 6 to 8 times. The idea is it is frequent but short stimulation. That is the idea. So let's say you have a wound. You just hit yourself. You have a wound and you do an analysis with a Bach flower or with certain vital substances. Maybe calendula comes out. And this calendula, because the situation is acute, you just hit yourself. It's painful. Just, 1 hour ago, it's an acute situation. Okay. Then, the calendula you will send for about 6 to 8 times in a very short period, like 37 seconds. And
okay,
what is it?
Questions here too. Maybe we can go to the next topic. What does it mean? How is it possible to print a chakra chart from the app?
The chakra chart you cannot really print. Not so far. Use the screenshot of your smartphone and just do it yourself. Just be smart. You just take a screenshot and then you just cut it nicely and you use it like that.
Another question, is it important that you use it in your right or your left hand to record the vibration?
It doesn't matter, actually. We just have to make it more simple and more easy for people to, not even think. But in reality, it wouldn't make a difference. So you can use left or the right.
Does it make a difference? Do you need to repeat the recording vibration, or is one time enough?
Good question. One time is enough. Just imagine this is a digital fingerprint. This is your ID in the information field. Compare it to your smartphone number. If I have given my mobile phone number to somebody 20 years ago, do I have to give that person the number again just because he wants to call me now? No, because the same number is applicable or is working right now. So one time is enough.
Okay, then there was the question here to the chart from Glenda, 6 to 8 times right after each other, or do we need to wait for so and so many minutes or hours?
Yeah, as we said here, it's like 6 to 8 times a day. So you can, you don't have to do this one after the other. The idea is, again, consciousness or the mental intention. If you use this, let's say, if there's some time in between, let's say if you put 1 hour break in between and then you come back to the sending, then your conscious involvement in this process is higher than as if you would just do it 6 times one after the other. Because then it's like done, and then you do your nonsense again. Just
okay. Another question here is: chakras show only the energy level on each chakra, but not the alignment. Is this correct?
Yeah, this is just the total energy. The alignment is something which is visible only in the TimeWaver technology, because the aura analysis app is a limited version of what TimeWaver aura photography is providing. So you only see the absolute energy distribution.
Okay. Another question, in order to have a correct outcome, do we have to do the chakra analysis every time? And how does the Healy measure the chakra? By the photo?
You don't have to do this anytime. I mean, you want to also see how your energy distribution is developing. In order to see a tendency, you can do it, let's say, once a day, or even once in 2 days. Don't do it like one after the other, one after the other. That is not the idea. The idea is you want to see a bit of a history. You want to see a tendency. And if you see one chakra is low, you want to observe this on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, or even on a monthly basis. If everything is fine and all the chakras are more or less, quite high, then that is good. You don't need to do anything.
And is the Healy measures the chakra by the photo?
No. Healy is measuring the chakra due to your fingerprint. Remember your digital ID, which you have put in while you put all the data into the client profile. This is how Healy is connecting to your partition of the information field and extracting on a new base the information regarding to all your chakras. The picture in that sense is just for you to know with whom you're dealing. Okay,
2 more questions and then we can continue. When I make a recording and repeat the recording a minute later, the result is totally different. Every time there's a different result. How can you explain this?
Yeah, the result is not totally different. I'm quite positive that the result is not totally different, but the result can and will be different. This is a phenomena in quantum physics which we call the observer effect. In quantum physics, reproducible results are impossible, because whenever you actually, and this is a very important point to be understood, whenever you do an analysis, you have a certain intention. Remember consciousness. So now you do another analysis 5 minutes later. What is your intention then? You most likely want to maybe check whether the app is doing what you want, or whether you can kind of double check on your first analysis. But you're not having a healing intention anymore, because your intention changes, the result changes. Yeah? Because, if you have a real situation, somebody has an issue, and you do an analysis for that person, you have the intention of helping a person, like authentically. But if you do this again and again and again, then, your intention changes into a laboratory testing intention, and the results will be different. You will never get a result twice. It's like taking a photograph on your smartphone. If you want to have the same photo twice, you will never be able to get it, because the angle is different, the light is different, the perspective is different. Things change. It's a one-time in a life situation.
One last question, and we really have to go into the resonance part.
Oh, yeah.
Do we need to record the vibration of every client? And what is the difference between with or without recorded vibration?
Now, every client you put in the app needs to put the Healy in his or her hand for the vibration. That is part of the deal. The question was, what was the second one? What is the difference if you have it or not?
Yeah. What is the difference if you do the recording or not?
Yeah. So, the more you have about the client, the better it is. If you need as much information as possible, so it is clear with whom we are dealing. Therefore, the personal vibration is the clearest identification in the field. It is the strongest identification besides the photograph. Therefore, it is recommended to, if possible, at least, to always use the vibration. However, if you 1 time, 2 time cannot do it because your clients or the person you want to do the analysis for is far on the other end of the world, you can make an exception by only putting the photograph in and the name and everything. But we recommend, for the clear identification and the effectiveness of the outcome, to have the vibration part of the profile. It's important.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. So let's proceed to the next module.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay. Just to finish this chart, if it's a chronic issue, as you see, 2 to 3 times, and then it is less frequent, but you have a longer stimulation, then you use the other interval, which is 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Then it's not 6 to 8 times, but 2 to 3 times, but longer stimulation. And here the total duration is more or less 1 month. Can also sometimes be a bit longer. So this is a guideline you can get from our Healy team. I don't know, probably Frank has it or the Healy support has it. We'll, you can always write an email to Healy support for this guideline for balancing for Healy resonance. By the way,
we'll actually put this in the back office for everyone.
Oh, very good. By the way, I have created 7 or 8 little short video clips related to whatever I'm talking right now today. So if you haven't seen those video clips, make sure somehow or other you get them. They are 2 minutes, 3 minutes each, and they're dealing with whatever I'm talking today. There's also little video clips. So they should also be available somewhere. Cool. So let's go back to the app. Let me see. I will go. I'm now switching back to my smartphone. Frank, you can see that one?
Not yet. Now, I think. Wait, now I can.
Very good. Good. So coming back to the 2 sending times, remember the first one was 37 seconds acute, 6 to 8 times. And the other sending interval was 2 minutes and 49 seconds chronic, 2 to 3 times a day. And then start and then the vibration. Good. By the way, all the lists are available in the lists part, as you can see, and you can always delete them by swiping them to the left. You can rename them. I would advise you to rename them because otherwise you lose the overview. Just give them a name, heart chakra, and then immediately that was my heart chakra list. That is very advisable because otherwise if you have then 20, 30, 40, 50 lists, how can you keep track? So heart chakra. And as you can see, all of a sudden makes sense. You can add a name, of course. I forgot that part. You add a name and then you make sure you know for whom it is. From whom it is. Good. Second analysis is what we call the resonance analysis. So now we are doing also an analysis in the information field only. So the analysis will be done in the information field. I choose again the active client I do want to do the analysis for. Here, by the way, the focus is preset. You cannot change it. I cannot type anything in the focus window. Why? Because we want to have a standard focus with what do I have the greatest resonance right now. So here you cannot do much. The only thing you can do is continue with database selection. And this is also what I'm going to do. And now you have certain opportunities. You can browse through. You have 39 Bach flower remedies. Remember, digital homeopathy. Yeah? You have amino acids, or I would rather call it vital substances. I don't know who came up with that name. I will talk to the guys because I don't like that very much. The next one is called Materia Medica. I don't like that name either. I rather call it digital homeopathy. Sounds way better. Anyway, I'll talk to the guys. And then we have Australian bush flowers and so on. We have Alaskan gem elixirs, schisel salts, and then we have all the Healy programs from the other app, which is very important. From the other app, because you can do an analysis in the categories or overall to be able to know which program you would use now or you would need in the other app. This is very useful. Scroll all the way down and there is a thing called all Healy programs, right? I want to do this first. So now I go all Healy programs and now I start the analysis. I put my finger on the screen. Remember what I said. Putting the finger on the screen just is there to make you aware of what you're doing right now. To keep the mental focus. Yeah, I guess now I have a bit of interfere. Okay, that works. Good. So what is it? As you see, the program with the highest relevance would be Healy Bioenergetic Balance Program 1. Easy. So now I can go into Healy Bioenergetic Balance Program 1 or programs 2. That is also there. Healy Protection Programs. Interesting. So now you can, of course, you could take all of them, but it's recommended just maybe to take the first one, the highest one. Since both of them have a same relevance of 30%, I could basically choose now which one. So Healy Bioenergetic Balance Programs 1. Sounds good. I go back, resonance analysis, choose myself again, database selection, and now I'm going to Healy Bioenergetic Balance Programs 1. So now I do the next analysis in this category, because first analysis was just by all the like which categories shall I go into, and now I'm doing the analysis into which category, like what is the specific program in that category I should use right now. So I'm doing the same thing, wait a second, and I will have, what is it? It is related to cold program. Interesting. You can hear me, huh? I had a bit of a sore throat. I had sometimes to, a bit of a scratching in my throat. It's interesting. It relates actually perfectly to what I'm experiencing right now. The other program would be hormones, nerves, potency. I'm not talking about that today. And immune system. So again, this is
a quick question, because if you would say, for example, you would show now migraine, but you don't feel a migraine, what would this mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. You have to see this is also a preventive state. Huh? Like, I'm also not like feeling like, that I'm fully sick, that I'm having a cold and I have to cover myself. But if I really be introspective and I look deep into myself, then I can feel I have to watch out. It could potentially, happen or break out the next days. Hence, I'm doing this as a preventive measure. So, even let's say you could say categorically, yeah, I don't have it, then, I'm not doing it. Of course, you always have the chance. However, this migraine program is not only related to the stiff, what is it called? Indication migraine, but the frequencies included are also related to other, brain balancing measurements. So use that program. Have trust that whatever is, part of the pool of frequencies included in that program is for your well-being and also prevents things from, actually manifesting. So I'm not having a full-on cold right now. So I could also argue, yeah, I don't really, I'm not really sick, but, you hear my voice is a bit cracking here and there. And I was also, in the beginning having a bit trouble. So I can feel it. There is something energetically already maybe manifesting, which maybe not physically have fully manifested right now. No? Look at it also away from the just physical platform. Go into the more subtle dimension and try to interpret the results also in that way. Okay. So now I could go on the other app and I would find the cold program and I would start it, put on the wrist electrodes, and, that's how it goes. However, I can also go by the, same thing. Now I go by the databases and I'm not choosing the Healy programs, but now I could actually choose the Bach flowers. Or the amino acids, which I rather want to call vital substances. So again, I'm choosing the vital substances, and then I'm starting the analysis. I put my finger on, and now I can say, okay, what do I need? Maybe related to my sore throat or related to the maybe upcoming, cold I might manifest. I might want to also see, what do I need as a vital supplement? What can TimeWaver suggest? And as you see, now we have L-arginine. I don't know how you pronounce that in English. Comes 2 times. Interesting. No, the first one is L-arginine and the second one is L-alanine. So as you see, there are certain amino acids now which are part of that database, which as a supplement, Healy Resonance is recommending me to balance my field right now. So now I would, because it is more of an acute issue, it is like to have a cold, to have a sore throat is not a chronic thing. It's just right now here, maybe, since 1, 2, 3 days. So it is more acute. Therefore, I would click action, vibrate. And what would I choose? I would choose the 37 seconds, 6 to 8 times a day start. Are there any?
So, Michael, is there a recommendation from what percentage is acute and not?
You mean relevance?
Yes.
Yeah, this acute and chronic is not related to the relevance. Acute and chronic is really related to the situation. As I have explained right now, my sore throat or the potential upcoming cold I'm already kind of energetically feeling, if you want to say so, is more of an acute situation. It is not chronic. If I have chronic coughing, which is already going on in my life for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, or since I'm a child, I know it is a chronic situation. So then I adjust my sending or broadcasting with Healy resonance accordingly. But it is not like whether it is acute or chronic is not related to the relevance. It's not related to the percentages here.
But how do we interpret the percentages then?
Okay. The percentage we interpret of what is the need now. basically what amino acid is most important? What do I need mostly? So with 51%, we have L-arginine. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. I just making it up now. Maybe it's called L-arginine. So now 51%, that means this is the most important of all the 76 possible ones. That one is the one which I need. So if I'm now smart, I could say, okay, sending is one part, but I can also now supplement this and, go online and buy this amino acid and just get it as a food supplement. And for the next days, just, also on a physical level, support my body so that my immune system is, coming up. So, you can also use, in a way, common sense to maybe also the highest one, if need be, physically supplement. That is possible. You don't have to, but you can.
Okay, thank you. I have a few more questions, if I may.
Yeah. Go ahead.
For example, what happens if you vibrate for a longer time, 12, 26, 52 minutes?
That's a good point. Actually, all these times for sending, they come from TimeWaver. They come from our TimeWaver big device. Most or the highest is now almost 9 hours. What happens, you can only feel yourself. Usually, the idea is not, to do it all the time. It's not necessarily that more is more, because what we want to create is a sort of an interval, on, off, on, off, on, off. Why? Because the on-off idea gives, is stimulating again the whole system newly, so that the system cannot align towards the impulse it gets from the information field, right? Let's say, I'll give you an example. Somebody is pinching you and you feel pain. So that person is pinching you, but as you know, after some time, the pain goes down. Why? Because your body actually is recognizing it and is lowering the pain level, so that although the pressure of the pinch is the same, your subjective feeling of pain is reducing. The body is doing that. But if that same person is pinching you and then stopping to pinch, and then pinching you again, and then, on, off, you be annoyed by, and you probably move, because you don't want to be in that constant on-off pinching interval thing. But you could become complacent if that pinch is just, being held for 8 hours. Because then, in a way, why would you move? The pain is anyway going down. You could become complacent, right? So in the same way, keep this in mind. This interval session is what makes the system realign, always newly according to the new impulse being done by Healy resonance.
Because Mart had a comment just to share with the people. They had amazing results of people with huge pain in the knees.
Oh, now I can't hear you. You'll be out of the room. I guess you've been kicked out. Okay. 1 second now. We'll bring you back in. Good. So until you're back in, Frank, I'm probably continuing like that. Yeah. So you can also manually put in a sending interval, like a sending time. You could say 10 minutes, or you can say 15 minutes, or you can say 20 minutes. That you can also do. The intervals are a bit, they're not even. Let me see. Is he again? He has left the room. I guess Frank will come back in soon. Yeah, these intervals are not even. They are a bit, 12 minutes, 40 seconds, 5 minutes, 59 seconds. These are certain numbers which in our TimeWaver community have brought up very positive results. Therefore, we don't have like just 10 minutes straight or 20 minutes straight. Therefore, these are, a bit, not fully there. Huh? Now, Frank, you're back in, huh? You were just being kicked out. Okay, so use those intervals which are here. Do not necessarily put in manually 5 minutes, because these intervals, they have been proven over the last 11 years using TimeWaver as very effective. That's why they're here. In some cases, however, and I have to agree, in some cases, you might want to, in a way, give it a bit more. And then, if somebody has, as you said, Frank, if somebody has knee pain and that is like, very painful, or back pain, you might want to, so sometimes just use it for 2 hours and 12 seconds, this longer interval. There's no harm. In that way, you cannot overdose. If this is too much, your system is not going in resonance with the information, with the impulse. So you can at times also, if it is like a very acute situation, do it a bit more, like do it a bit stronger, just for the beginning, but then lower the interval. Okay.
Michael, another question. For example, when a woman is doing the analysis and it says prostate.
Oh, that I have to see. It should not come. But this we have to see in a practical dealing. It could have been in the past when the database was not fully correct in the beginning of the app, but it should be revised now, and it should be in such a way that these entries should not be relayed to opposite sex.
Could this be because we had the other situation the other way around? A man is doing the analysis and gets menstruation, which could be a hormonal disbalance, right?
You're also right, Frank. You have to be able to read between the lines. That is true. And therefore, also, if that comes out, then there could be a potential hormone imbalance, which is then being shown with the opposite sex entry. But it should not be, if somebody has that, that should be reported, and we will have to look into, because that should actually not really be part of. Let's put that question on, let's write that question down, Frank. We have to discuss about it later on, and we have to dig into the matter, okay?
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions?
In a strange program can have frequencies that can be beneficial for that person, even if it's the opposite sex.
Give me an example.
Yeah, like for example, in this case with prostate or menstruation, even that it is opposite sex, it could have beneficial parts to run the program anyways.
That is true. As I said, also with the Healy app, there are frequencies, like we had this example with migraine. In that pool of migraine, in this migraine protocol, there are many frequencies which are also dealing with some other issues which are just around migraine, like balancing maybe the nervous system. I'm not aware of all the content yet, but there's more in. So also with the Healy Resonance app, if you send, then it has an effect in the way to, let's say, maybe it supports in the information field the balancing of hormones. So therefore, you can send these lists anyway. If, however, you are not, that's not meant for you, or, there's a saturation level reached, you would not go in resonance with the impact anymore. So in that way, you cannot really overdose or wrongly dose.
And also don't really take the program names too literal.
That is also a good point, because, Frank, this is a very good point. We are humans. We have put these programs in. We have put all the information in. Since it is human intelligence based, there can be, deviations from so many, whatever practical situations. This is a vocabulary, Healy Resonance talking to us, and this vocabulary has a certain amount of vocab. So it can well be that the right vocabulary is not there. And therefore, Healy resonance comes with the vocabulary closest to our situation. And that might be, with a female hormone or whatever, or migraine, but it's maybe not migraine, but it is, close to that.
Okay, thank you, Michael, for answering those questions. We have 5 more minutes. You want to show us a little more about the application of resonance?
Yeah. So let's do one more analysis, because now we are having the app still open. Everything works. Michael going with the databases. Yeah. So, what is a very good database? Maybe I want to talk a bit about the database. What is a very good database is the first one, Bachflower Remedies. This is a very, this is a validated database, since many years used in our TimeWaver community, very effective. I know that one. The Australian Bushflowers is also is a strong one. I also like that one. The Schüssler salts is also a very good one. So let's do one analysis with the Schüssler salts, just because I like those ones as well. If you're not familiar what Schüssler salts are, just, inform yourself, go online, Google it up, however, read through. It's very important that you also know what this remedy does, because the effect is stronger if you know what this remedy has an effect. What the effect is of the remedy.
Just a quick question in between. When you do the sleep analysis for 56 minutes and 46 seconds when you're going to sleep, would that work?
Say again, this sleep analysis. What was it?
I use the sleep analysis for 56 minutes, 46 seconds when I'm going to sleep.
You mean sleep analysis or sleeping program in Healy?
Sleep analysis, it says in the question.
Sleep analysis, I have never heard.
Tanya, maybe you can clarify in the chat.
Yeah, okay, exactly. Sleep analysis, I've never heard.
Okay.
Yeah, but here you see, for example, Schüssler salts number 26. That would be the one highest for me now as recommended. So gentle, timely, and sustainable balancing of all disorders of the mineral balance in the body cells with selenium. What is this responsible for? It is responsible for liver and blood vessels. So liver detox, blood vessels, is a circulation. That is also correlating, with the cold liver stents, also is related to the immune system. So you see there is a red thread going through the analysis to my current situation. That's important. And what is the next one? Is number 17. Yeah. Number 17 is sulfate. That is also one. So now, again, you go in action, you go vibrate, and because it would be an acute situation for myself right now, I would say 37 seconds, let the system send. And I would do this 6 to 8 times. So tomorrow morning, when I get up, I do this, 2 hours later, 2 hours later, 2 hours later, something like this, so that I cover around 8 sendings. You don't have to, be so strict on the time. You can, whenever you be reminded or whenever you remind yourself, and you just start it. That is good. Because anyway, the Healy is always with you. Your mobile phone is always with you. What do you do? Besides doing WhatsApp and stuff, you just put the Healy on and do this.
Michael, there's a question. If you want to have a program 6 times, for example, when you're acute, do you have to start the resonance 6 times to send the program?
Yeah, you have to start the Resonance app, you have to connect the Healy hardware, and you have to find the list, and you have to send this list 6 to 8 times, like here. You have the list, you find the list, maybe, I just, whatever list it was, that was the heart chakra list, or now I had the Schüssler salts list, I find that list, and then I go on action, and then I vibrate this exact list for the time into the field. And this 6 to 8 times. I have to start always the Healy, of course. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Okay, perfect. So we're at 8:30 now. Michael, is there anything important you want to close with?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, there's a lot more, and as you see, we just scratched on the surface. Healy is a fantastic tool. Healy resonance is a bit more subtle, is a bit more energetic. There, keep in mind, this is a very sensitive part. This is more going in resonance with your intuition, with your more subtle being. So the other app is a more straight app. You have a frequency program, you put the electrodes on, you run the program. But this app requires a bit more of intuitive work. So get in resonance, go in resonance with the resonance app. That will be maybe a good homework, and find out how you can work with this app best for yourself. And tune in again whenever we have maybe a part 2. I don't know when and how. That was just a start, but I guess at some point we will have a part 2, just to go a bit deeper into the matter.
Well, Michael, thank you very much. Maybe I ask you here right now, would you do the same thing in German?
Ich kann das Ganze auch auf Deutsch machen. Kein Problem.
That's great, because people were asking for German as well, but now we started with English, so this is more adaptable to most people. Well, thanks a lot, Michael, for showing us a little bit more in detail. I think it's also like a little bit with the resonance. It's like with the program. It's a little bit trial and error. You try things, you find out what works, but I think you needed a little bit more